When you came home from overseas, I honestly didn't recognize you.
You know, I'm somebody who, like, if they're happy, they're eating. If they're sad, they're eating. If they're stressed, they're eating. I put on about 40 kilos. I was like more unhappy with like my job situation and finance and feeling stuck, and I had debt.
You didn't realize that there was an issue?
No one is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. In the same way bad habits can rub off on you, so can good habits. Everyone would be like, are you coming for a run? And I couldn't run. I was not a runner. So I actually would come to work early at like 5 a.m. and I would basically run. I was close, but I always stopped before the finish line. I remember this one day running and I was like, the fuck am I stopping before the finish line? When I started to like finish at the finish line, it was like something in me shifted and I lost 40 kilos. There's only two options, finishing or not. So I always say, don't wait for anyone to be your cheerleader in life. Do it for yourself.
Welcome to SWIISH Wellness Unlocked, the podcast that cuts through the noise and gets straight to what works. We're your hosts, Sally Obermeder
And Maha, Corbett.
We're founders of a global wellness brand that's been changing lives for over a decade. Every episode, we're going to explore the latest trends. We'll dive into breakthrough science and insights from leading experts to help you live, feel, and look your best. No fluff, just facts that work. Let's unlock it.
This is an ep of the Wellness Diary. So this is where Maha and I share our personal wellness journeys.
Yeah, there's no experts. It's just us, real, raw, unfiltered.
And this time we wanted to do it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to share with everybody. Obviously, I know the story of, your wellness journey.
Yep.
But I actually think that there's a lot that people don't know. So some people might have heard of your cancer experience, but actually your wellness path story started much earlier.
Yep.
And I kind of thought, let's get to the bottom of that and let's really get into it.
All right, let's do it.
So how would you have described, growing up, your thoughts around health and exercise and well-being?
I think we grew up in a really healthy house. Mum was a big cook, so we had lots of kind of healthy food. I was not an exerciser. I was somebody who actively avoided exercise. I got Dad to write me a note for PE as often as possible. So I feel like it was just there. I was, that's kind of just how it sort of was. And it was not sort of something I don't think I put sort of any kind of particular thought into. Mm-hmm. And then in my 20s, I was in a job I didn't like and I felt very stuck. I, for a range of reasons, felt like I had to stay. And I think I was always an emotional eater, but it never really kind of, I'm somebody who if they're happy, they're eating. If they're sad, they're eating. If they're stressed, they're eating, And I think then I was in this job and I felt stuck and I ate my feelings.
And so, I think in a way it's sort of harder with emotional eating. You really only have access to the school canteen in a way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like when you're eating all your meals at home and you're at school or whatever, there's only limited options.
Correct.
But then when you're out in the workforce and you're an adult and then you're actually able to
make your own choices or whatever. And so I remember easily eating a whole pack of it was basically at this place I worked, you could only sort of leave your desk for two reasons. One, you're in the kitchen or you were smoking. Because you had to go downstairs to smoke. And I wasn't a smoker, so I was in the kitchen a lot. Mm-hmm. And I would easily eat a packet of biscuits a day. I remember eating my lunch like a huge laksa.
I remember.
With
a Mars bar chaser.
With a Mars bar chaser.
Yeah.
I reckon I kept the laksa place in business for a long time.
It was good laksa.
It was. And so I would eat that. I'd have a Mars bar chaser. I would eat biscuits. I would have coffee with sugar. I just was trying to numb the pain of feeling stuck and not knowing what to do. And I put on, in the kind of 2 years that I worked there, I went from, I put on about 40 kilos.
I remember you resigned and you left that role and you went traveling overseas with a friend for about don't know, 2 months or 3 months. And did that circuit breaker, now that habit, I guess, was in place or that emotional eating was in place,
So what happened was I'd already been on the trip. I came back. I stayed another year and I was still stuck. And so then when I resigned, what actually happened was I ended up going to another job and I had to get, hang on. So, like with anything, when it happens gradually, you don't really notice, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm aware that this has happened or that I've lost my way or that I'm unhappy with something else. I didn't really kind of notice. I went to another job and at this company, their culture was a huge sporting culture. And as somebody who's actively avoided sport their whole life, I was like, oh, this is an absolute nightmare. So at midday, everyone vanished. And I was like, where is everybody? And everyone was out running. And it was very much like the culture. And I think in the same way good habits can rub off on, in the same way bad habits can rub off on you, so can good habits. And I was like, oh my God. And everyone would be like, are you coming for a run? Are you coming for a run? And I couldn't run. I was not a runner. And so I was like, oh no, no, thank you, I'm okay. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do? I love it here. I love the work. I love this company. I love these people. I want to be with them. I want to run like they do, but I don't know how to run. So I actually would come to work early at like 5 a.m. So it was like we lived so far away and I would drive to work early and I would basically run I say run and I really am using the term loosely. Yeah, it was like plod, walk, plod, walk, plod, walk.
In the Botanic Gardens every morning,
so that then by the time it was like 7:30, I was already had been for this sort of trying to run. And eventually, I was kind of, when I say good enough, I mean I was able to kind of go for a run with the people who also couldn't run that well at lunchtime. And that's kind of how I slowly started to exercise. But I remember this thing that would happen to me. So there was this sort of circuit that we would do and everyone finished at like the finish line, right? Where it stops. And I would always stop before. Like I was close, but I always stopped before the finish line. I remember this one day running and I was like, the fuck am I stopping before the finish line? Like this, I'm sending myself this message that like we don't finish, we don't get it done. Like there's something bad in this message. Like I've got to get to the finish line. That's where the run ends. And when I started to like finish at the finish line, it was like something in me shifted. I was like, that's how you get stuff done. And I just would run in the morning or I would run at lunch and I started to make better food choices or I brought my lunch or whatever and I lost 40 kilos.
Yeah.
But what happened to me in that time was like a mental shift. It was like I realized that no one is going to do it for you. No one is going to set the alarm for you. No one's making me. I don't have to leave my house at 4:30 in the morning in order to drive an hour to get to work before anyone can see me because I'm embarrassed to kind of run with those people and practice and whatever. It's like no one is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself, And that shift changed my entire life.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Because then, I would say watching you after that, it was like you led a very healthy lifestyle, right? You ate really well, you exercised, you were so fit, so healthy.
And also my mental strength changed. Like I was somebody who I think I didn't enjoy school. I got picked on a lot. I couldn't wait for the whole thing to be over. I loved uni and I loved uni life and stuff, but I was not somebody who I would say was driven like I am now, ambitious like I am now, clear on goals and goal setting. And I feel like maybe that's what people in sport have, and I'd never had that. And this shift that I felt was like a warm up for me, because then when I was like, I want to go and literally leave my 10-year investment banking career and go work in television, I had that same mindset shift of no one is going to do this for me but me. And then,
and that you have to finish at the finish line.
You have to finish at the finish line.
Yeah.
Like finishing 300 meters before the finish line isn't finishing. There's only two options, finishing or not.
Yeah.
In the gray area in the middle, that's just gray.
Yeah.
We get it done.
Yeah.
And I feel like then that gave me so much. It's so funny when you can train your mind, because it's so strong both ways. It can talk you out of anything, and it's very fucking effective at doing that. Stay in, sleep in, it doesn't matter. Who cares about like whatever it is? It really can talk you down a rabbit hole. But at the same time, you have to talk yourself out of the rabbit hole.
Totally.
You want to get this done, babe. You want to have a different life, and that ability to pep talk myself, which is why I always say, don't wait for anyone to be your cheerleader in life. Like, you'll be waiting a long time. Like, fuck that. Like, do it for yourself,
Yeah.
And then when I was sick with cancer, that same pep talk and strength and resilience, and you have to do this for yourself. Like, no one's going to drag you to chemo.
Yeah.
No one's like, they were like, you don't have, like you have to.
Yeah, you have to make the decision that you're going, that you're giving it all you've got, that you're fighting,
that you're like all of it,
What I love so much about this is that, at various points throughout your life, as you say, it's like your job with cancer, even after cancer, starting a business,
television,
surrogacy, like literally everything you've been through, that mindset has had to kind of come through along the way.
And it all started back then. It started then. Like, it was not something I was born with or intrinsically, I don't think maybe we had growing up. I feel like I had that experience.
Yeah.
And I had this shift.
And can I say that it's actually very inspiring?
Thank you.
No, I'm serious. It's really inspired me watching that, but also I think the effect has been that I've looked at what you've done and how you've done it, and it's given me the inspiration whenever I've had, periods that have been challenging where I've gone, well, not like what would Sally do?
Yeah.
But sort of, and like, how do you use that mindset to overcome any challenge or get through, and make shifts in your life.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like your overall approach to wellness.
Yeah. And my overall approach is like, get it done, and also obviously like my approach very much now is like with such a deep gratitude obviously to being alive and having gone through like a near-death experience. It changes you, but also it's still very much like I cheerlead for myself.
Yeah.
I pep talk myself. I'm like, come on, babe, we've got this. Like, this is our life, but it's really, like, let's do this,
Yeah.
And I pep talk myself all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I reckon if we didn't have SWIISH, I probably would run like a telephone service where you could like pay me and I'd pep talk you. Like, if you need a pep talk, I will ring you and I'll be like, babe, we've fucking got this. Like, you're a superstar. You're a fucking legend. Like, pep talking people is my favorite thing. And I do it for myself.
That up.
Yeah.
That's great.
If you want a pep talk, I will call you.
Yeah, that's it. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing and being so, open and honest. I think it's, like I said, a lot of people would be very familiar with your cancer story, but there's so much more to how that unfolded that started so much earlier.
That's, I think, like that cancer, I feel like those earlier experiences of resilience and strength were like a warm-up for me for cancer. It was like the universe knew that was coming, and it gave me those trial runs so that then when I had to face the ultimate test, I'd had a practice.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you.
Well, that's a wrap on Wellness Unlocked. If it hit home, then hit follow, share it, and dive into the show notes for all of the links and any of the resources. Head to swiish.com for more, and if you're in Australia, you can also find us in Priceline stores. Now, we want to hear from you what resonated, what you want more of, and what you're curious about next. This is your space for wellness that works.
Remember, everything we cover is for general informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your health or wellness routine.